Let's talk about neurodivergency. There's a big difference between the words neurodiversity and neurodivergency, even though they sound incredibly similar. Neurodiversity includes absolutely everybody. Everybody's brains are made differently. We all like different foods, we all like different smells, different music, and fall in love with different people. The term neurodivergency covers those people whose brain differences set them even further apart from the majority of people. So if you wanted to categorise, you could say that autistic people with ADHD or Tourette's, someone who is dyspraxic or dyslexic, or someone who has acquired a neurodivergent condition, perhaps from a stroke or an accident. So let's talk about autism for the moment. Autism is a developmental neurological difference that affects absolutely everybody differently. There are no two autistic people that are alike, and although they may have differences in similar ways, each way that they feel that or show that will be unique to them. Being autistic means that you will probably show differences with your communication, with your social interaction, with your motor skills. It may impact your executive function, and you will most likely stim. Alongside that, there are probably going to be sensory differences, whether that be seeking the chewing or the smell or the touch of something, or avoiding those things altogether, and perhaps preferring to use ear defenders and keep yourself in a quiet space. Confusingly, this can also all fall on the same day. In the morning, you could want to seek out things, and in the afternoon, you may have seeked out too much and need to have that space. This is why if you ever meet an autistic person, you must never assume that they're like the last autistic person you met, because I can guarantee you they may have similarities, but they will never be the same. Many autistic people behave differently to how you imagine the majority of people would behave. For example, Archie loves to stim, as do so many autistic individuals. Stimming is a self-regulating, repetitive movement, action, or sound. Tactile, like rubbing a certain fabric or chewing items. Visual, closely examining objects or staring into, let's say, a bubble tube. Vestibular, running, jumping, rocking, hand flapping, or tiptoe walking. Proprioceptive, enjoying the feel of a weighted blanket or seeking out pressure. And echolalia, repeating sounds or noises. All of these things are natural for an autistic person to do, and suppressing that natural urge to stim, particularly in school, for example, can lead to a build-up of pressure within. Generally, this will then lead into a meltdown. So if a child is stimming, let them. It's what they need to do. I always suggest, as long as they're not harming themselves or others, go for it. One of the saddest parts about having a child with autism, or perhaps being autistic yourself, is the anxiety that comes along with living in a world that really isn't designed for you. Even into adulthood, there is still a lot of misinformation and misunderstanding, particularly in the workplace. Often autistic adults are confused with just being rude or blunt or abrupt, when actually they're just straight to the point, matter of fact and logical. Generally speaking, of course. So we would ask you, when you see a child or adult behaving differently to the way that you would expect, try not to stare or make comments or be rude, and certainly don't giggle, because those autistic people have feelings just like you, and they deserve the same respect as you do.